Well, it's Tuesday, and you all know what that means. As you know, we're just going to be doing a one review episode only. Now, I apologize for those people for that because, as you know, I do maybe two to more depending on what I watch or how my day is. But however, that was not the case, so I apologize. But we're just going to get this one out of the way. As you know, NXT, we're getting closer now with Halloween Havoc. Battle lines are being drawn, but also those battle lines are being set up, all things to spin the wheel and make the deal. So we're gonna see what's gonna happen on Halloween Havoc as well. So basically, we're gonna see exactly what exactly is gonna take place when we get there. But for now, let's get through the whole thing. And then, of course, we will cap up our episode with some news updates to give you guys updates on what's been going on in the world of pro wrestling, such as what events the promotions are thrown out, who's booked, what matches are set, including developments that are happening in the world of pro wrestling as we speak. So, let's get ready for another episode of Deleted Wrestle Zone.
Are you ready? Get up, get up! 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 Get up, get up!
Hey everyone, welcome to Deleted Wrestle Zone, all things that it's pro wrestling with AEW, NXT, New Japan Pro Wrestling, TNA, the National Wrestling Alliance, various promotions, wrestlers, matches, and championships. I am your host, J Rod here. So, if you are new to the channel, welcome. This is a channel where we do a lot of pro wrestling reviews and various promotions, not only here in the United States, but also in Japan, Mexico, Canada, Europe, the UK, anywhere in the world where pro wrestling is not as big, but it continues to grow. We also, of course, do discussion videos, talk about various topics such as the wrestlers themselves, the promotions, factions, storylines, whatever we want to talk about. We also, of course, do more news updates. If certain information was unable to be on this episode, I can put it on the next episode or on a separate video by itself. We also, of course, do real-timing news updates to keep you guys on alert if something has happened in the world of pro wrestling that needs to be addressed ASAP. We also, of course, got the Unagi Sayaka Watch and various other cool wrestling content as well. So if you like what you see, please subscribe to us or click on that subscribe button. You'll be getting a lot of daily reviews and other cool wrestling content as well. But if you like this episode, please give us a like on the like button or a nice comment in the description down below. Now, all introductions have said, I believe it's time to get boogieing. So, let's begin with our only review, NXT. Okay, NXT. Open up, as you know, we have a brand new crown, a new North American champion, Tony D'Angelo, the Don of NXT. As you know, he defeated Obafemi recently, and now he got his chance. Put out a promo telling him, of course, that he might have been the longest reigning champion, but he outsmarted him, not by cheating, but more like trying to use his own strength against him. But of course, Obafemi was going to show up because sooner or later he was going to reclaim what he lost, because technically he does have the right to cash in his rematch clause. So this will take place in Halloween Havoc, but the battle line was drawn by using the spin the wheel, and he did. And what they got? Table, ladders, and scares. So basically, that's going to be a very interesting. But we did see the rest of the D'Angelo family a bit little worried about what kind of match is this. But of course, Andrea Rizzo, who always had faith in Tony D'Angelo, realizes he has to put on his game face. But of course, Luca Crusifino volunteered to deal with Obafemi, stepping up for the family. But the real question we ask ourselves, is this wise for him to do something like this? Well, we'll see what happens when we get there. Now, we did see a bit of an interview with Byron Baxton talking with Alexis King and Oro Mensah due to the situation that took place. Now, let's go back to what happened. Lexis King, on the other hand, decided to bury the hatchet with Oro Menza. So that's exactly what happened. So Oro Menza decided to cheat. But of course, Lexis King knew that the next confrontation, so that's what's gonna happen. So they decided to do a gentleman's rule. Oro Menza doesn't think that he turned a new leaf, but we'll see what happens. Now our first match, this is the in-ring debut of Stephanie Vakir, as you know, the Chilean luchadora, and makes her debut to face against Ren Sinclair. Of course, this was going to be a match where, of course, she's making a name for herself, and she did pick up a win by applying a somewhat of a small package um, backbreaker onto her, and just like that, winning the match. But of course, as you know, her presence is a threat to two particular wrestlers: the current NXT Women's Champion Roxanne Perez and her BFF Cora Jade. And of course, Julia showed up to give a helping hand to, of course, Stephanie Vakir. But however, that's the thing that's going to happen. So we will see those two sooner or later facing off. Now we get to the gentleman's rules match, which of course was developed by Lexis King. And of course, Oro Menza, as you know, he doesn't believe that Lexis King turned a new leaf. However, Lexis King decided to play by the rules, and exactly what he did. So he actually did play by the rules, and of course, he applied a very clean bridge, and just like that, 1, 2, 3, it was over. And of course, Oro Menza realized he has turned a new leaf. So he decided, okay, bury the hatchet. Now, Cedric Alexander was having some words with Javon Evans until they were, of course, not interrupted, but more approached by our current NXT tag champions, Nathan Frazier and Axiom. However, of course, Javon Evans hasn't forgotten that it was last time those two guys cost him a tag match. But of course, they admit, we're sorry about that. We were not directing at you. It was, of course, those two idiots, the A-Town Down Under. They were the ones. But of course, Wesley shows up to get in his face, telling Javon Evans that he has no business being in the ring in this match, and that he'll never be the NXT champion. But of course, Javon Evans wasn't having it. Of course, he was losing his composure. But of course, Cedric and, of course, our tag champions tried to control him to calm down. But we'll see what happens until then. Now, recently, as you know, Lola Vice has a lot on her plate, especially when it came to Jada Parker. But last week, we did see her have a little conversation with Ava. She ran into Nikki Lyons. Now, of course, Nikki Lyons, we haven't seen her for a while. Now she's back, healthy, to kick some ass. Now, of course, you would have assumed that this was going to be a very interesting matchup. We know the capabilities from both ladies. But, however, this match was basically caught off guard with the arrival of Jada Parker trying to humiliate Lola Vice even further. And then, of course, the Lions Roar by Nikki Lyons allowed her to pick up the win. And now the war between both Lola Vice and Jada Parker has begun. Now, our general manager, Ava, was talking with Julia and Stephanie Vakir until the so-called leaders of NXT showed up, Fatal Influence. But, however, of course, Fatal Influence were claiming that people like Kalani Jordan has been ducking them. However, Ava Reigns gave him an opportunity. If they want a shot of the NXT Women's North American title, they have to face against Julia and Stephanie. So basically, it was a very fair deal. They know they want the title, but they're not trying to. They're trying to play a different type of game, and this time, they had no other choice. So we'll see what happens until then. Now, as you know, our next match, we have Rich Holland versus Riley Osborne. As you know, Riley was managed to survive with the onslaught of Rich Holland after what he did. Of course, Riley Osborne wasn't going to let this one go no matter what. First it was Mr. Chase, then Duke, and then breaking Thea Hale's heart. But Riley was not going to let Rich Holland to try to get away with it, but it was still not enough against Rich Holland. When he applied the Redeemer, the match was over. But however, Rich Holland was not done. He was determined to destroy Riley Osborne by any means necessary. But luckily, out of nowhere, Andre Chase came back with a vengeance. And this time, he's going to deal with Rich Holland once and for all. Now, our next interview, we did see Tatum Paxley doing her thing. And then Jada Parker, as you know, decided to interrupt, but Tatum Paxley was not having it. So I'm presuming we're going to see those two face off each other, but we'll see what happens. Now, our next match, we have Ashante the Adonis versus Brooks Jensen. Now, as you all know, Ashante the Adonis has been passing up roses to various people. And then, of course, he cost a match involving Carmen Petrovic and Brinley Reese. And he wanted to make it up for him. But this time, of course, he tried to make it up for her, apologize. But, of course, Brooks Jensen and Sean Spears thinks he's an idiot. And Adonis was not having it. So basically, that's how it was. But however, the match was going fine until Karen Petrovic showed up and ruined the rose that he gave her. So basically, it was like payback for costing her the match. So, but of course, Brooks Jensen was able to apply a DDT in order to win the match. So I don't know where we're going to go from there, but it's going to be interesting. Now, our next match is our main event, the NXT title #1 contendership. Javon Evans, the young OG, Wesley, and of course, All Ego Ethan Page. Now, remember, each of these men have something to gain. Ethan Page, as you know, is the former NXT champion. He does have a right to reclaim the belt. So basically, that's how it is. Wesley feels now that the thing with, of course, with his former brethren is done, he has to proceed to the next logical step, which is the NXT title. Javon Evans, as you know, he's been a young sensation, making headways in, of course, NXT. He was put in the mix. But however, of course, there's going to be a lot of chaos and everything. So the idea what this was going to be, you don't know how this was going to end. But however, it was Ethan Page that was able to pick up the win by pinning Evans, and just like that, it was over. But I wouldn't be surprised at some point that Evans and, of course, Wesley are going to duke it out, because I think Wesley might put the blame on him. I'm not sure, but we'll see. But however, in the post-match, we had to spin the deal, make the deal take place, and what landed is the Devil's Playground match. Of course, Trick Williams told him that he was not afraid of him, and then Ethan Page decided to attack him to prove a point that no matter what, this belt is going home to him. He's not going to allow Trick Williams, who he thinks is not the guy who should be the face of the company. But I'm sure Trick Williams will think of ways how to deal with him. So we'll get to that at some point. But for now, we are done with NXT. Let's move on with our news updates. Okay, so welcome to our news updates. So let's begin, of course, with upcoming events from the promotions. As always, let's begin with GCW. As you know, on the 13th of October, which is, of course, a Saturday in Denver for the War Ready, we have Effie versus Rina Yamashita, and then, of course, we have Jack Cartwheel versus Alec Price. So that's going to be a good match. And then, of course, the following day in LA, we have the Blood on the Hills 3. Scorpio Sky, who will be making his debut, he will face against, of course, Starboy Charlie. That's going to be a lot of fun. And then, of course, the San Diego show that will be taking place here in San Diego on Halloween, we have Ciclope versus Ares. So that's going to be real fun. And then finally, the Chaos in Kentucky on the 14th of November in Louisville, Kentucky. We have the Pink Striker, Miyu Yamashita versus Brooke Havoc. Then we also learned that Lou Nixon, his upcoming schedule in November with GCW, he will be part of the Wouldn't You Understand on the 29th of November in Brooklyn, and then Say You Will on the 1st of December in Chicago. Now, Canadian promotion Maple Leaf Pro Wrestling, as you know, they're returning with the Forge of Excellence. They just announced for night 2 of their event, the Qatar Pro Wrestling Championship will be on the line. Now, this is a promotion based out of the promotion in the Middle East, Qatar. Their champion, Classy Ali, will defend his belt against Editor Vessel. Then Tokyo Pro Wrestling, as you know, will be having an event in Osaka on the 16th of November. The Princess of Princess Championship will be on the line. Miyu Yamashita will defend her belt against Sarah Zacher. Now, for those who don't remember, Sarah Zacher defeated Miyu Yamashita in the Tokyo Princess Cup, I think on the first or second day. So that gave her an opportunity to have a shot of the belt. So I even asked her when I met her back on the West Coast Pro Show here in San Diego, any chances she will be going back to Japan? Well, looks like the answer has been said. So she'll be facing Yamashita, and I'm sure this is one of Miyu Yamashita's way to rectify that loss. And then finally, Oregon promotion Prestige Wrestling will have their next event, always the hard way, on the 28th of November. They announced Evan Rivers versus Matt Brannigan. Now on to our developments. Tam Nakano, many of you know. Well, New Japan originally announced that they will be making their way to a area in Tosho Arena Aijo in Aichi, which is the hometown of Tam Nakano. So Tam Nakano will be making a special appearance in her hometown, despite the fact that she's from Stardom. But I have to say, it's going to be fun. This will take place, I believe, on November 9th. Hopefully, we get to see her. Now, Fightful Select reports that GCW will continue, they reach an agreement with Thriller to continue broadcasting events for the next 2 years. So this is good news. Now, as you know, we'll be coming in for the annual tournament of the Super Junior Tag League. Now, these are tag teams in the junior heavyweight division in New Japan, so we will see that. Now, we have 2 blocks that have been announced. Here's who we have for Block A. We have, of course, LIJ's Bushi and Hiromu. Our next match, we have Captain Suicida and Dragon Mask. Then, of course, we have the guys from the Bullet Club War Puppies, Clark Connors and Maloney, Dragon Dia and Ryosuke Taguchi, Fujita and Kosa Fujita and Robbie Eagles, Sho and Kanemaru, of course, these bastards. I know they're going to cheat, trust me. Then we have DKC and Ninja Mac, awesome. Akira versus and TJP from the United Empire, Jude London and Perez Del Silva, they're from another promotion, I think Australia. Of course, our current tag champions, Kevin Knight and Kushida, Rocky Romero, and of course the returning Yo, and then finally Ishimori and a mystery partner. So we will see who that mystery partner is. Now, many of you may know we have the PW Insider 500. Several wrestlers have been announced. I have about, let's see, it reached up to 242, but however, we're not going to go through the whole list, so I can give you like who is in it. On number 4 we have Micah, number 6 Suri, 13 Io Sky, 14 Miyu Yamashita, 16 Mina Shirakawa, 18 Miyu Watanabe, 21 Julia, 27 Sadia Noi, 26 Tam Nakano, and then 31 Hikaru Shida. I can go on, so you guys should check it out. So these are the Joshi wrestlers that made. There's a whole bunch of them. I can give you like Mei Sita, the ladies from Marigold, yeah, that sort of thing. So yeah, so check them out, alright guys? So I think that's pretty much it for our news updates and everything else. And I think it's time to call it a day. Well, I hope everybody enjoys this episode. Coming up, as you know, we have AEW Dynamite and various other things. I haven't decided yet. I know that there's a lot of Marigold events that I haven't seen. I think day 3, 4, and 5 for their latest event, Fantastic Adventure. So we'll see about that. The much recent events with Stardom. We'll get to that as well. But we'll see what happens until then. I'll plan the whole thing out for the week. But until then, this is the plan. But for now, I will see you guys on the next DWZ time, same DWZ channel. I must bid all of you adieu. So, goodbye, and have a nice day.